We have with us today Rodolfo Lopez Negrete. He's Chief Operating Officer of Mexico's Tourism Board, and he's going to speak to us about Mexico's tourism industry. Thanks for being with us today,
Thank you for
Rodolfo.
the invitation, Tom.
How is tourism performing in Mexico?
Well, let me first say that last year was a healthy, solid year for Mexico as far as tourism is concerned. We ended up with very robust figures. 22.4 million tourists visited Mexico. In addition to that, we received close to 6 million passengers that came to the different ports of call in the Pacific and the Caribbean. And in addition to that, we experienced more than 50 million border crossings between the U.S. and Mexico. So in total, the balance is a very robust year.
Okay. How did you perform in tourism dollars? From the
point of view of spend, we still have a challenge. We surpassed the numbers of 2009. Mm-hmm. We went up from $11.2 billion to $12 billion, but still short compared to 2008, which is the year that we're comparing against. During 2008, which was a banner year for Mexico, the total revenue from a tourism point of view was $13.3 billion. So we're still short by $1.3 billion, but we believe that we're going to be able to catch up in the next few years. Okay.
And how do you see the tourism spend this year?
Well, we have certain challenges that we have to overcome. In the first place, we see robust growth from literally every international market to Mexico right now, with the exception of the U.S. The U.S. is still going through a very difficult situation from an economic point of view. We all know that, and we respect that. And that has generated that the travel industry in the U.S. has been reducing prices and rates at a very attractive manner. Therefore, Americans, we have seen, are traveling more than ever domestically within the U.S. Because the deals are just amazing. I was just in Vegas recently, and I paid $120 in a very deluxe hotel. So as we see the U.S. economy getting healthier, we believe that we're going to be able to increase our business out of the U.S. But still, Mexico is the #1 destination for Americans.
How much does the United States account for your tourism spend?
Let me give you an idea. Out of the total number of air arrivals that we get in Mexico, last year we received close to 10 million tourists that came via air. Mm-hmm. 6 million of those were from the U.S. So it's roughly 60%.
Okay. What are your long-term goals? I understand that Mexico now is number 10 as far as the destinations that capture international tourists.
Well, we believe that Mexico has a very diverse array of strengths that we have to highlight, that we probably did not highlight in the past as much. Mm-hmm. And that is connected to the fact that from a cultural point of view, we're probably one of the richest countries in the world. Our history, our art, our music, our cuisine, archaeological sites, just to name a few strengths, are some of the assets that we would like to promote much more aggressively. And we believe that that's a wonderful opportunity to grow business from the international markets primarily that would come to Mexico that didn't used to come in the past. And that kind of traveler, as you know, Tom, they tend to stay longer than the average tourist that comes to Mexico to a sun and beach destination. Okay. So we have a very ambitious goal, which is to bring the levels of tourism from 22.4 million of last year to 50 million tourists by the year 2018. And from a spend point of view, to grow from $12 billion in 2010 to $40 billion in 2018. We recognize and we accept it's a very aggressive and ambitious goal, but we believe we can do it.
Okay. And what are the steps you're going to take to achieve that goal?
Well, there's a whole set of strategies in place, and but maybe I will highlight a couple of those which are critical for the success, for arriving to success in these projections that we have. One of them is that we believe that we need to be more aggressive in diversifying markets. to diversify our portfolio markets that come to Mexico. Although we would like to continue to grow our business out of the U.S. and Canada, we believe that we can grow exponentially at a greater level our business out of Europe and out of Latin America and out of Asia. So that's that strategy of diversification will definitely give us the opportunity to propel those numbers at a faster pace. That's on one hand. On the other hand, another important strategy is the diversification of segments. What I mean by that is that Mexico has been traditionally dependent from the sun and beach destinations. And while we continue to push our sun and beach destinations and continues to be the backbone of the tourism sector in Mexico, we believe we have a tremendous opportunity to promote what we call the cultural destinations. And by having a very aggressive push towards that segment of the market, we believe that we can, again, propel growth at a faster pace. So those two parallel strategies are critical for us to grow business at that level.
Organized crime violence has been a problem for Mexico. How much does that affect tourism?
Well, I mean, what I can say to you is that we don't have a study that really gives you any specific data that proves that we have been losing business because of the safety issues that we have had. But let's bear in mind that Mexico is a very large country, as you know. Mexico is a country that has 2,500 municipalities, which is equivalent to the counties in the U.S. Out of those 2,500 municipalities, only 80 of those have seen episodes of violence. That's less than 5% of the entire country. And what has happened is, unfortunately, that some of these travel alerts have been too general. And we have established constant communication now with the proper authorities in the State Department and other authorities in the U.S. to try to modify that language and hopefully make it more specific. So we do believe that it has affected us, but has affected us from the point of view of new consumers that have never been in Mexico and that wish to come to Mexico. And because of this negative news, probably they're saying maybe next year and they're going elsewhere. But as far as the regular repeat U.S. consumer that has come to Mexico, that knows the attributes of Mexico and understands that these travel alerts are too general, they continue to come.
Okay. What would you tell a potential tourist in the U.S. if he said, Rodolfo, is it safe to come to Mexico? Where should I go? Where's the safest place? What would you tell a tourist?
What I would say, this is what I say all the time, which I believe wholeheartedly, which is Mexico is as safe as any other destination in America, Canada, the Caribbean, or Latin America. But I would go a step further, which is come to Mexico now, because now is when you're going to get the best value for your dollar. The quality of the product that we have in Mexico, that we have built over the last 10, 15 years, is unparalleled. It's second to none. And at the prices that we're marketing those destinations, now is the best time for the U.S. consumer to take advantage of that.
Okay, but there are certain areas where you would maybe avoid as a tourist, other areas that are completely safe. How does that balance?
Absolutely. And we are perfectly honest and frank about what destinations we wouldn't recommend. Obviously, we wouldn't recommend anybody to go on a vacation to certain border destinations in Mexico, particularly the ones on the northeastern part of the country. Places like Reynosa or places like Ciudad Juarez are not at this point, unfortunately, prepared for that. But that doesn't mean that the rest of the country is unsafe. You visited destinations such as Cancun, Riviera Maya, Vallarta, Mazatlán, Acapulco, Los Cabos, just to name a few, Guadalajara, Mexico City. Statistics prove that the percentage of crime rate for every 100,000 people or population is even lower compared to many destinations in America, the Caribbean, and Latin America. So my message would be, come to Mexico now.
Okay. And you had mentioned a little bit of diversification of your tours. What are you doing to bring more tourists from outside of North America?
Well, we have a very aggressive communications program. We have, last year, we released a very successful campaign titled Mexico, the Place You Thought You Knew. The rationale behind this campaign is precisely what I've been addressing, which is Mexico is much more what you think it is. It is all this array of assets, of this array of richness, of diversity that we have to offer to the tourists, and in very few countries in the world you can find. That was a very successful campaign in the U.S. and Canada. Next year, we are gearing up to release a similar campaign in the European markets and the Latin American markets. So that's an initiative that is really paying back. Obviously, in parallel, we have a very aggressive PR strategy that we are conducting in the major markets. We're just out there trying to tell the untold story about Mexico, which is Mexico is much more what you think it is on one hand, and Mexico is totally safe to come.
Okay, and that's part of the trying to attract more of the cultural tours. How does it break down between beach and sun and the cultural tours? What is the difference between those two different tours?
Most definitely, our sun and beach destinations are the backbone of our sector. And while we continue to push those, because there's still capacity to fill, we believe that we can grow exponentially in the cultural side of the business. The U.S. consumer that travels to Italy or that travels to France or that travels to all these cultural destinations could very well come to Mexico and have a similar experience or even a better experience. So we believe that that's where the biggest opportunity lies, and that's why we have a big push towards cultural tourism. At the present time, only 17% of our business is culturally related. We believe that we have the potential to grow that and have a much more balanced portfolio of segments, maybe 60-65% sun and beach destinations, maybe 35-40% cultural.
Okay, and to wrap up, what are some of the numbers on hotel occupancy and some of the numbers on if you're increasing your night stays?
Well, we have data through the end of May. While the supply of guest room has increased by 1.5% approximately, the number of occupied rooms has grown as well by 2.3% as well. So we have good news in that terrain, and occupancies continue to grow compared to 2010 and 2009 year to date. Clearly, there are certain destinations that are doing better than others, like the ones more in the geographical locations such as Riviera Maya, Cancun, Los Cabos, Acapulco. Those destinations have seen growth in business. Conversely, there are other destinations that we need to push harder, which are the destinations such as Puerto Vallarta, Nuevo Vallarta, Riviera Nayarit, Mazatlan, which depend much more from the west coast of the U.S., which has been, as you know, severely hit by the economic downturn. So all in all, the balance is that the supply of guest room is growing, the number of occupied rooms is growing, and the occupancies are growing.
Great. Rodolfo, I really appreciate your time. It's been Rodolfo Lopez Negrete, the Chief Operating Officer of Mexico's Tourism Board.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.